He quietly dominated. He crushed expectations. He won a championship for a franchise that had never held the trophy. But then, injuries, silence, and scandals crept in. Now caught between glory, pain, and controversy, how did one of the NBA's most private stoic superstars become a question mark? This is the rise, the fall, and downfall of Kawhi Leonard.
I don't even know where you're sitting at.
Kawhi Anthony Leonard entered the NBA in 2011. He was selected by the Indiana Pacers with the 15th overall pick before being traded to the San Antonio Spurs on draft night. Early on, he was not flashy. He was methodical, defensive, disciplined. Under coach Greg Popovich, he honed something rare: the capacity to guard the best, to rise up in the quiet moments. In 2014, only 3 years into his pro career, Kawhi had his breakout. The Spurs, with their polished system and selfless stars like Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili, were a championship team. In the finals, they faced the Miami Heat. LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. Spurs won the series, and Kawhi was named Finals MVP, the youngest ever for that Spurs squad, and the third youngest Finals MVP in league history. A defining moment. His defense, his boards, his calm in the chaos. In the seasons that followed, Kawhi was named back-to-back NBA Defensive Player of the Year in 2015 and 2016. He became more than defense. He added offense, becoming one of the league's premier two-way players. But in 2017 to 18, everything changed. A lingering right quadriceps injury sidelined him for most of the year, limiting him to just 9 games. Frustration grew, not only over the injury itself, but also over disagreements between Kawhi's camp and the Spurs' medical staff about his recovery. The relationship soured, and by the summer of 2018, the Spurs traded him to the Toronto Raptors, marking the end of an era in San Antonio.
The deal is final. The Spurs will send Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green to the Raptors for DeMar DeRozan, Jakob Poeltl, and a 2019 first-round pick.
Toronto was a gamble. 1 season, no promises, no guarantees. But Kawhi turned it into a championship run for the ages. In the 2019 playoffs, he carried the Raptors on his back. In the second round, a Game 7 moment etched into NBA history. The 4-bounce buzzer beater over Joel Embiid to eliminate Philadelphia.
Top, looks at the clock, turns the corner for the win! Got it! Kawhi Leonard!
In the Eastern Conference Finals, Kawhi delivered again. Game 6 against the Bucks, 27 points, 17 rebounds, 7 assists. Toronto closed it out, punching their ticket to the franchise's first-ever finals. Then came the Warriors, a dynasty, even without Kevin Durant at full strength. Kawhi was steady, relentless. He averaged 28.5 points and nearly 10 rebounds across the series, anchoring Toronto on both ends. In Game 6, he scored 22 points and sealed it, the Raptors' first NBA championship. Finals MVP, once again. San Antonio had their trophy. Now Toronto had theirs. And Kawhi Leonard was the reason. The rise was steep. From a defensive role player with the Spurs to a 2-time champion, a 2-time Finals MVP, and the man who delivered Canada's first NBA title. A legacy, it seemed, was already secure.
Enjoy this moment and have fun with it. Ha, 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 ha.
Yeah!
Then came 2019, and Kawhi chose Los Angeles. Not the Lakers, the Clippers. He teamed up with Paul George, and expectations soared. Maybe, finally, he could dominate the NBA in his hometown. But the fall began when the Clippers famously blew a 3-1 series lead to the Denver Nuggets, a collapse that still hangs over the franchise's playoff legacy. Then injuries followed, and the narrative shifted from can they win to can he stay on the court? In the 2021 playoffs, he tore his ACL against the Utah Jazz, forcing him to miss the entire 2021-22 season. The following year, in the 2023 playoffs, Kawhi tore his right meniscus in the first round against Phoenix after just 2 games. Once again, his postseason ended before it really began. In 2023 to 2024, he finally managed a healthier stretch, suiting up for 68 regular season games, his most as a Clipper. But in the playoffs against Dallas, knee inflammation struck again. Kawhi played only games 2 and 3 before sitting out the rest of the series. The Clippers lost in 6. Overlaying the injuries was a persistent load management controversy, debates about when and why Kawhi sat games, uneven messaging from team staff, and an NBA fine/history of scrutiny over inconsistent public statements about his health. That debate intensified public frustration. Was the issue medical caution, strategic rest, or something messier? Time and again, the Clippers looked like they might break through, but Kawhi's absences in critical moments kept dragging them down. Fans craved consistency, impact, that signature superstar moment. Yet availability was the constant question. Even when Kawhi came back, there was always doubt. How healthy is he really? And those questions grew louder with each postseason exit. As of 2025, Kawhi's story has another chapter. One less about his physical battles, more about off-court questions. Reports surfaced that Leonard's company, KL2 Aspire LLC, had a $28 million endorsement deal with Aspiration, a sustainability-focused fintech that later went bankrupt. Bankruptcy filings show the company still owes Kawhi's LLC about $7 million, with potential additional stock value. Some reports framed it as a no-show endorsement deal, implying Kawhi had little promotional responsibility, and that the arrangement effectively rewarded him for staying with the Clippers, raising speculation about whether it could be seen as a salary cap workaround. However, former Aspiration executives have disputed that characterization, insisting the deal had real contractual obligations. The NBA has opened an investigation, though no findings have been announced. Both the Clippers and Steve Ballmer have denied any wrongdoing, maintaining that nothing violated league rules. On one hand, Kawhi Leonard is among the few to win 2 Finals MVPs with 2 different franchises. He led 2 different teams to trophies. That is rare. That is legendary. On the other hand, what was built on solidity, health, consistency, dominance, has eroded. The injuries, yes, but also the expectations, the leaks, the controversies. Is his legacy secure? Will history remember him as one of the greats of his generation? Or will it be colored by what might have been? More championships, more consistent high-impact seasons, fewer whispers of deals behind the scenes? And what about accountability? Not just for the player, but for teams, agents, owners. The way contracts are structured, how deals are reported, how injuries are disclosed. All of that is being questioned. Kawhi's story is not finished. Not by a long shot. He remains one of the most respected, feared players when healthy. But the arc, from rise to fall to controversy, forces us to ask, can a legend survive the shadows cast not only by injury, but by mistrust? If Kawhi is ever to reclaim the shine, will it be on court with performance, or off court with truth?